Hi there, we're here at StoreKit. We're going to be unboxing the Square terminal today, which is really exciting. So we are a hardware distributor. We actually sell this rather than use it, but it's here, it's just arrived. It's just become available in the UK. It's been out in the US for over a year now, so you can find some reviews out there already. But I wanted to sort of see what it's like in the box here in Britain. So our head of e-commerce has just told me that I need to make it look easier to open than I'm currently making it, because I'm not a very good opener. But here I've got a box cutter, and if I just slice underneath the top, you can see that it just opens out like this. There we are. Really easy. Okay, so Square terminal. Take payments and get paid. It's that simple. It says contactless, chip and pin, and magnetic stripe. If you do take payments by magnetic stripe, obviously that's more common in the States. Flat rate pricing, secure payments, and easy setup. The flat rate pricing, incidentally, they will negotiate and they do offer rates of payment that are not flat, but the automatic rate, the rate that you get put onto, is a flat 1.75% on all payments. That's something called the headline rate. As you get bigger, you can get them to go a little bit lower. It says on the back, fair pricing, fast deposits, pay one flat rate for every chip and pin or contactless payment, get your funds the next business day. So that's a little bit faster than some of its competitors, which take 2 to 3 business days to deposit the money in your bank account. And we've got the inner box. It is always, the Square products are all very attractive. I mean, they I think take the Apple design ethos to something as unattractive as a card reader, which is very nice. That is satisfying. Welcome to Square. So this is it. So it's about 14 centimeters tall by 8 centimeters high. It's about the size of a large mobile phone, and it's a little bit heavier than one of those phones. You can carry this around easily enough, though. I'm not super strong or anything. It's got this kind of triangular motion, and like all of Square's products, it's quite attractive. Unlike the Square Reader, it is not a square. It's a rectangle, so they're differing from their USP there. So here we have a receipt roll. So in terms of the hardware pricing, this is £199 plus VAT, which makes it a little cheaper than an iPad or a phone, but a much more expensive than a card reader. It has this is a thermal till roll. It has a receipt printer built in, which is great, and it means that you don't have to buy a receipt printer with it. Although it's not a complete hardware saving, because that does put the price of your cash drawer up. The reason for that is that cash drawers are usually dumb items that get controlled by the receipt printer, but because we've not got a receipt printer, we need our cash drawer to be a smart item, so you have to pay a little bit extra to get a specific cash drawer, the correct cash drawer, and it has a little bit of compute in it. So here we are. I'm going to take, there's a kind of outer wrapping, which is all plastic, and I want to, there's some arrows on the tacks for easy opening. There you go, that comes off, and then there's a little protective film here that I can peel off, and that's very satisfying. So I'm going to see now if I can open this to put the receipt till roll in without breaking it. Easy as pie. That off, and here it is. When you watch me do it, you'll know that a complete newcomer could do it, because I've always avoided setting up hardware. Okay. Do you put it, which way around do you put it in? Not sure. Does it matter? Let's find out. I'm going to just pull out a little bit here just in case. And there we are, the till has entered. Now, if I'm correct, this should already come with a little bit of charge in it. So this is the menu screen when you're using the Square terminal. The first and most important is the checkout. So this is your actual your cashier's screen, if you like. If you're taking payment, if you're selecting items, this is where you're taken to. Now you can see that there is just a list of items that extends down the page, so it can't display loads of different items to you. However, you can see at the top here, all items. This drops down a list of categories. And you can select that way if you've got a more complex inventory and you need to find an item quickly. So if I were to choose a fixed price item, here's Adam's fixed price burger, that's £15, that goes straight into the basket. There's also ones that you can type in custom amounts, so this is Adam's tasty burger, which is not fixed price. I've just added these items through the POS desktop login, the web login. But they can, as we'll get to in a second, they can be added through the terminal itself. So when I've added everything I want to and I'm ready to charge, I just click charge. There's an item, a basket summary, confirm and pay, add a tip. You can eliminate this stage in your settings. I'm not going to tip myself. And then we've got the actual pay screen. Now, if you don't want to pay by card, you can click cross, and then it gives you a series of other ways to pay. So if I click cash, somebody has tendered the correct amount of £30, and I press tender. Then I can simply press print receipt, and press print receipt again, and you can see that the receipt then does print. So to me, that's slightly too many steps. It's not as quick as you would get from an iPad point of sale, where you have all of the buttons in front of you and it's a slightly bigger screen, but you can do all of the things you need to as a cashier, whether you want to do custom amounts or not. If you go through the other things in the menu, so invoices, I'm not going to get sucked into this because it is inviting me to undertake a tutorial, which I don't want to do. But know that you can set invoices through here and it's fairly intuitive. We've got transactions. This is a list of all of the different transactions that we have done recently. If I click on one of them, then it gives me an option to issue a new receipt, a refund, or a gift card, and I can just view the details of the transaction, including the tax. You know, if I wanted to issue a VAT receipt, for example, you could do it through here. In reports, so at the minute you can see there's a menu of all of the different kinds of reports, and there's only one type in it, there's sales, which is the one that's automatically created. So you can create different styles of report through your back office, and if you look at all of the different things here, I can see all of the sales that I've taken in the last however long. And it is just, there's no graphs or anything, it's a fairly simple breakdown. Customers, you can see there is one StoreKit customer with Square, and that is Rick Sanchez. And we can look at all of Rick Sanchez's activity. Back here, we can go right back to his purchase. We can see he paid £2 for an apple, and if we want, we can offer Rick a refund. And we can also sort of attach different things to Rick's profile, a saved debit card, for example. Items, this is one of the other really important ones. So this is your product library. Now the easiest way to add items is by the back office. It always is, and you can usually import lists of items from spreadsheets and things like that. However, if you want to just add items simply through here, you can do. You can also add categories, which obviously simplifies the journey to find the item, and things like modifiers and discounts. So if I go to all items, create item, and then you can see I can select a category, a price, a SKU, stock, and you can also set the tax, which is really useful, at 20%, which is VAT. Back to the menu, and then settings is the way that you control it. So some of the different things you can adjust based on this. Obviously the tax amounts, things like tipping, not useful to everybody, and manage some of your customers. Finally, support. Square's pretty good with support. Most of these, I think Square has a 24/7 customer hotline that is available in the UK. which you don't get for all of them. Some of them are Untitled 9 to 5, for example. So if your terminal goes down, you go down, and so it's useful to know that they're always there. This is one of the big advantages of software as a service rather than software that you buy outright, because whenever you've got software as a service, your relationship with them is ongoing, so they're incentivized to make sure that you're okay and to look after you, because otherwise you can take your business elsewhere. So there are two, in my mind, there are two use cases for the Square terminal. The first kind of use case would be if somebody wanted to use the Square terminal for their whole POS system. It's a little bit cheaper than a setup where you would have to buy an iPad and you'd have to buy a receipt printer as well. Obviously, you don't have to buy a receipt printer with this. It's probably not as cheap as a setup where you're just using an app on your mobile phone and you've bought the read. Is there any difference in terms of functionality? Well, no, it's the same app, and most of the really complex stuff you'd use through the web login in the back office anyway, and that would be identical with both setups. So that's the kind of the first use case. The second, and I think probably the more interesting, is if you are a restaurant specifically. Our restaurant customers tend not to have their payments integrated. People prefer to enter them manually on card readers, and the reason for that is that people will, you'll have a table of 12 people and then they each want to pay amount X or amount Y. And what happens in those scenarios is you go up to you go up to the table and you type in all these custom amounts, and then you go back to your iPad POS and you enter the custom amounts, and then you realize that they have not paid you the correct amount collectively. With this, you can do that kind of live at the table. You can sort of in real time go, oh, now we owe £20 left, £10 left, and the last person can go, actually, we've not paid enough. If you are wanting to take orders at the table, I think it's a little bit slicker than a pen and paper and easier to carry around than an iPad. But the most sophisticated functions of Square Up Restaurant, if you're paying extra for the restaurant software, which is £69 a month, I think, per location, then you can't do the most sophisticated functions there, by which I mean conversational ordering, so orders that are really easily amended and changed while people are talking to you, and also it can't do some pausing. If you're not sure and you don't know whether it's the right choice for you, give us a call. The link is in the description, and please do like and subscribe to this video. We will talk you through your options for free, talk you through some of the alternatives, and we can talk to you about your unique hardware and software setup and what is right for you. Thanks very much.